Hey everybody, Movie Fan Z here. So I just got finished watching 1974's Young Frankenstein, directed by Mel Brooks. In this movie, you're introduced to Dr. Frederick Frankenstein, who lives in America and is the grandson of the famous Victor Frankenstein. And in order to prove that his grandfather is not so crazy, he embarks on a trip to Transylvania and decides to live in the famous castle. And along the way, we meet several interesting characters, and he continues his grandfather's work, I guess, of reanimating a dead subject and making them alive again. So, also in this, you have Kenneth Mars, who is the inspector of the nearby village. You have Marty Feldman, who is Igor. You have, let me say this. Peter Boyle is the monster. You have Inga, who is played by Terry Garr. And you have Elizabeth, who is his fiancée, played by Madeline Kahn. Now, as far as scores go, it's equal pretty much with IMDb and Metacritic. IMDb has an 80, and Metascore is an 8. Oh, sorry. IMDb is an 8, and Metacritic is an 80. And it actually has a 94 on Rotten Tomatoes. So overall, this is a good movie. This is a better movie than I remember it being the first time. But it's very punny, especially by Igor. But it works in this movie. There's sometimes in other movies, some recently that I've watched, where it's too punny. And it just doesn't work. But I also did like the performances, especially by Igor and Frankenstein. I felt like they were really good in their roles. Now, as far as a negative, though, and this is maybe a negative that's related to Gene Wilder, but there are multiple times in this where it just seems like the outbursts are just a little too much. But that could be just a character trait of his, so I'm not going to fault it that much. But overall, again, this is not my favorite Mel Brooks movie. That, of course, is Robin Hood, Men in Tights. Had to think about it for a second. Robin Hood, Men in Tights. But this is still a very good movie. I'm going to give it a 3.5 out of 5. Come back next time for another review. Again, this is my review for 1974's Young Frankenstein. This Movie Fan Z, signing off. Have a good night.